Steel Drinkware. Offer valid for Ace Rewards members only through June 4th. Excludes Duracoat colors and jugs. See participating stores for details.
There are two things every parent wants when their child goes to college. For their child to do well and a way to afford it. Now, with Discover Student Loans, parents can have the best of both worlds. Not only do our loans cover up to 100% of school-certified costs with zero fees, but we'll give them a cash reward for each new student loan if they earn at least a 3.0 GPA or equivalent. That means every A in history or B in math could help them earn a cash reward for good grades. Just one of the many ways we treat you like you'd treat you. Apply now in 15 minutes or less at discoverstudentloans.com.
Are you wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars on termite retreat fees? If you're not with Turner Pest Control, you probably are. Turner Pest Control offers the industry's only termite and pest control package that never charges retreat fees, ever. You can get started today for only $99. This is a value of $500 or more. This includes treatments, installation of monitoring stations, quarterly pest control, and a lifetime guarantee, all for an unbelievable low $99. Even if you have another pest control provider, visit turnerpest.com to find out how you can avoid paying those high termite retreat fees.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Next Generation MD is the future of healthcare now. Listen in the first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. to learn how the future in PRP treatments are here in our area. Find out the many ways that Dr. Juan Jordan, MD, Charles Brooks, NP, and case manager Mark Shaw have brought the family medicine practice to a new level. Hear from the very people that benefit from the fine work they have done in this field. Next Generation MD every first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. here on WOCA 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Hey, Dan, what'd you get me for Father's Day?
Well, let's see. I like ham, turkey, roast beef, and especially meat falling off the bone ribs.
Well, I'm not cooking.
Clearly, eating is more your forte. So what do you say we let Honey Baked Ham and Cafe do the cooking? They've got everything we both like.
What's the address? I'll go pick it up.
2709 Southwest 27th Avenue. Right there behind Best Buy. As a matter of fact, they even cater, so I'll make this one step easier by calling 861-0011 right now.
Honey Baked Ham and Cafe in Ocala.
Tell them Dan sent you.
Tell them Joe sent you. Get 10% off.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accidents. It'll be partly sunny and hot on this Monday, Memorial Day holiday, with a high of 90 at the coast, 97 inland. Partly cloudy Monday night, low 70 inland, 75 at the coast. Tuesday, partly sunny, and afternoon thunderstorm in places, the high 90 at the coast, where it should be dry, to 96 inland. For Wednesday, partly sunny with an afternoon thunderstorm around, but dry at the coast, high 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
WOCA gets results.
We'll get advertisers just because they saw the success of the help we gave to a nonprofit. That's what I like.
The Marion County Literacy Council.
Vets Helping Vets, the Arnett House, Habitat for Humanity, and what goes around comes around. So many great advertisers have chosen WOCA to advertise their services and their products simply because they saw the power during a public service campaign.
WOCA gets results.
All right, 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Memorial Day Monday. If you have the day off, do something memorial.
Yes.
I think I'll drive over to the cemetery and put a... I got a flag on my desk.
Yeah, you do.
I could put into the little plaque that sits over my father's grave.
Yeah.
My grandfather's in that cemetery, too.
Yes, he is. He fought for our country.
He fought for Germany.
Oh, I thought he fought for Germany and then came here and fought for our country.
No, he fought for Germany in World War I and then came here in 27.
Oh, and then he was too old to fight in World War II. He wasn't.
Well, his son fought in World War II, my uncle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
all
your
right,
dad.
And my dad. All right, I have some more of these stories I wanted to share with you, and then we'll kind of lighten it up. I have some picnic tips for you.
Okay.
The next story I have here is this is kind of an up one a little bit. Marine Corporal Zach Skiles went to Iraq in 2003. While serving on the front lines, he lost 5 of his friends within a 2-week period. When he returned home, he found it difficult to hold down a job, and soon after found himself homeless. He eventually got back on his feet and now is a doctoral student studying clinical psychology with a focus on helping other veterans in need. The whole PTSD fight. Corporal Zach Skiles, in this sound clip that you're going to hear, discusses for the first time the day he said goodbye to his father.
His father died?
No. He's with his father, but he said goodbye to him at the military base. Here we go. Here we go.
He did. Oh.
I remember saying to you, every gift that I've been given, I don't have a better one than to be your dad. And I remember you smiling, saying, I love you too, Dad. And then you got out of the car and went to war. So what was life like after you came home?
I was pretty sure someone was going to kick down my door, and I was scared to go to sleep. I couldn't sustain employment. I couldn't pay rent and pay for groceries. It all just kind of fell apart. And then I was homeless. The crazy thing was that I didn't think that there was anything super wrong. The nighttime, I stayed on coastal trails and hiking trails, and in the daytime, I could just pass out at a park.
There was a time period where I didn't know where you were.
Mm-hmm.
And it is difficult to watch anyone let go of hope. But when it's your son, it's excruciating. I remember great relief that you decided to go into inpatient treatment. And I remember one night you getting out of the car to walk back into the treatment building. It was dark and your head was kind of down. And for a moment, I could feel the weight you were carrying. As I watched you walk into that building, I uttered these two words that I don't know if they were some kind of prayer or not, but they just came out, my son. And I was absolutely overcome with grief and love and the beginning of hope. What is life like for you now?
It's pretty cool.
You graduated undergrad?
Yes.
I heard summa cum laude. I'm just asking. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I remember my dad saying this to me, and I feel it is so true between you and I. It is your life, so you have the last word. But then as your dad, that gives me the second to the last word. And the second to the last word is, I believe in you. And I'm on your side.
My gosh. If you,
Love that.
Yeah, the one thing I think this story kind of illustrates for me anyway is the important work that Vets Helping Vets does right here in Ocala. If you think about what he just went through, going homeless, and a smart young man who has had his life turned upside down by what he experienced in war. We've heard those stories so many times from Hank and the guys on the Veteran Show on Thursdays here on WOCA. When Vets Helping Vets comes in and talks, they come in here and talk. One of the things that we've had comments on is it's called Veterans News, and as Veterans News, it's their choice of what goes on that show.
Yes.
And so some people say, well, why don't you talk about this political bill and that political bill? I don't know. I think the more important story is their stories.
Of course.
I think the more important story is when they come in here and tell us their stories. I can't tell you how many of those guys I would not even know their names, let alone their stories, had they not come in here during that show to tell their stories. Mm-hmm. Jim Phillips is one of them. Jim is a World War II survivor of a kamikaze attack on a ship that he was on in the Pacific. He is one of a few survivors of that attack. He says regularly, in fact, when Joe Martone was just over at the Veterans Resource Center ribbon cutting last Wednesday.
Yep.
Jim Phillips was there, and I think Joe got him on the phone for a little bit during the broadcast he did. But Jim survived the night in the waters of the Pacific Ocean. And forgive me, Jim, if you're listening, or anybody else who's listening, that if I get any of this wrong. But what I remember him telling is that the pilot, the kamikaze pilot, crashed into the ship. The ship split in two. Most of the men on board died. Those who didn't die were floating in the ocean, and many of them died. He told stories of hearing some of his comrades that were survived dying to sharks. He had his clothing completely burned off of him. He was burned 100% over his whole body, and he's floating in the ocean. Gosh almighty, holy mackerel. Can you imagine what that was like?
Horrible.
And he treads water all night long, and when he waves to the first plane he sees in the morning, it shoots at him because it wasn't one of ours. And just unbelievable. And finally he gets rescued, and he lives here in Ocala, and it's an amazing story of survival. And he will tell you time and time again that he does not tell the story for any other reason than to tell the story of those who didn't survive. And that's what Memorial Day is about. It's about remembering those who did not survive.
Exactly.
There's one of the great articles that the Ocala Magazine did was the article they did this past year that focused on some of our veterans. Eugene Poole is the cover veteran on the cover of that issue.
Yep.
Joe Martone, a real handsome picture of him in there. Hank Whittier was Man of the Year.
Yep.
So, it's so great to see some of these men and women. There were women in that article also being remembered. Today we remember those who did not make it home.
No.
All right, I have another one. This one is, let me see if I have it here. This one is a combat medic named Alan Ho. During the Vietnam War, and his two sons continue his legacy of service. His oldest son, Nainoa, eventually became a first lieutenant infantry officer with the Army's 3rd Battalion in January of 2005 while leading his men through Mosul, Iraq. Nainoa was killed by sniper fire. He was only 27 years old. On Memorial Day that same year, Alan Ho traveled to Washington to honor Nainoa's memory, and it was there that he had a chance to encounter with a stranger that brought them both unforeseen comfort, and this is a kind of amazing story. Here it is.
I thought it would be great to welcome these young trauma nurses with some special Hawaiian lei. And I saw this Army nurse come walking up the path. And I said, here, this is a special gift from me to you. As she put her head down so I could put the lei over her shoulder, she noticed the button that I was wearing on my chest. Then she just put her finger on it, and she said, I know him. I said, how do you know him? He was my son. And she said, I was the trauma nurse at the crash unit where he died. And she said, I will never forget that face. Both of us kind of looked at each other, and we started crying, and I gave her a big hug. But I could sense that something was bothering her, and I thought she may have sensed that my family might have been disappointed at the fact that our son, his life could not have been saved. And I said, I want you to know that my son was a warrior. He absolutely recognized all of the risks that were involved. She cried, and she said that as the head trauma nurse, one of her tasks was to prepare his body for his men to have a last viewing. And she said that she tried to close his eyes, but as she went to press his lids together, they always would come open just a little bit. And she said that had bothered her all this time. And I looked at her and I laughed. And she kind of gave me this puzzled look. And she was like, I'm curious now, why are you laughing? And I said, my son would sleep with his eyes partially open. His men, when they were in combat, they were never certain what they could do when the lieutenant was sleeping, because they never knew if he was sleeping or he was just awake watching what they were doing. And I said, the simple fact that you shared that story with me totally convinces me now that you were with my son at the end. Now, I never have to wonder about those last final moments.
We'll take a little break. If you have a story, I would love for you to share it with us. We'll take a little break and take calls on the other side of the break. The number is 622-9622. We'd like to hear your stories, maybe somebody you know that you want to honor on this Memorial Day. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accidents. It'll be partly sunny and hot on this Monday, Memorial Day holiday, with a high of 90 at the coast, 97 inland. Partly cloudy Monday night, low 70 inland, 75 at the coast. Tuesday, partly sunny, and afternoon thunderstorm in places, the high 90 at the coast, where it should be dry, to 96 inland. For Wednesday, partly sunny with an afternoon thunderstorm around, but dry at the coast, high 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey Ocala, this is Kelly Hart, Executive Editor of Ocala Magazine. Did you know last year Ocala Magazine won more awards in excellence than any other publication in Florida? And this year, Ocala Magazine was named Best Consumer Magazine in the state. Now you can join me every Friday at 10 a.m. on Ocala Magazine Radio, where we bring the pages of Ocala Magazine to life, right here on The Source. Ocala Magazine thanks you for making us number one. And remember, there is only one Ocala Magazine.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to tune in to the first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. to learn about the latest advances in healthcare available right here at home. Ocala Regional Medical Center and Strive have teamed up to bring the most qualified medical professionals on the air to answer your questions and bring information to help you in your decisions concerning your health. Again, that's the first and third Thursday. Health matters.
Hospice of Marion County has an urgent need for volunteers to share a conversation with someone, run errands, hold someone's hand. All you need is a willingness to help others. Our volunteers believe the blessings they receive far exceed the services they offer. Will you consider serving, caring, and making a difference? Call today, 873-7441. Hospice of Marion County, making more moments of life possible.
Hi, this is Vanessa Lane Jennings with the Jennings Law Firm, located here in beautiful Ocala. Join me every single Friday at 10:30 for Legal Lane. We'll be discussing various legal topics such as family law, criminal law, contracts, and much more. So this is your chance to call in with your legal questions and have them answered. That's every Friday, 10:30, right here, WOCA The Source.
Coming this and every second Friday of the month at 11 a.m. is Trinity Healthcare Medical Center with your host, Dr. David Kuhn. Trinity Healthcare Medical Center is Ocala's only progressive primary care clinic. Be sure to listen in and also check their website at thcmc.com. Then call them with your questions at 512-0000. That's 512-0000. That's every second Friday at 11 a.m. for Trinity Healthcare Medical Center here on The Source, WOCA.
An unexpected pregnancy can turn a young woman's life upside down. The House of One in Faith in Ocala gives these young women a place to live in privacy and comfort under the Christian care of counselors who will guide and protect both the woman and her unborn child. The House of One in Faith is confidential, loving, and free. For more information, call 352-687-8895.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
All right, 9 minutes before 11 o'clock. Got a fun game with Joe today. I suppose Joe will be. Have you seen Joe today?
Not yet, but I believe he went to the Veterans
That's
Memorial
right.
Park
That's
today.
right. Well, we have fun with Joe. It's of course, a Memorial Day themed fun with Joe today.
Yep.
If you have any stories that you would like to share, the phone line is open. We'd love to hear from you. If you are wanting to keep it light, that's okay too. We have lots of light things to talk about. Picnicking is apparently one of the big deals today. You went. You had your kind of a Memorial Day picnic yesterday at the beach.
With my mother. Her and I went, the two of us.
Sound like fun.
Solo. Yep.
Who's the better sandwich maker, you or your mom?
Oh, my mom. Of course.
I don't know. Did you ever know somebody who was in the Merchant Marines?
Yes, Al was in the Merchant Marine.
Was he? Did he ever tell you stories?
Just that he was too young to be in there, and he faked his, his age and everything because he wanted to go in. He tried going in the Navy and the Air Force, and they found out his real age. They wouldn't let him go, so he fudged the papers again for the Merchant Marine, and he was a cook there. And then he said that they escorted a lot of ships, and they were kind of like, put on the back burner by the civilians, but that was okay because they didn't care. They knew they were doing a good thing for their country, and they were ship escorts.
Yeah. And where
during
was
World War II.
And where did he serve?
I don't know what theater he was in.
There's a book called The Matthews Men, and we had the author on, William Giroux, a couple of years ago. And for some reason, somebody sent me an email telling me about the book. And I, of course, said, well, I know about the book. I don't remember all the details about it. So anyway, I looked into it. Here's a quote from the book. The sailor from the merchant ships was in those days known to America as a bum. How about that, huh?
Yeah.
The former mariner and author Felix Reisenberg wrote, quote, he was associated with rock gut whiskey, waterfront brawls, and quickie strikes that held up big passenger ships at New York, New Orleans, and San Francisco. It was the earliest stages of the United States' involvement in World War II. Nazi Germany was already bringing the war right to our nation's shores, right here in Florida. U-boats were spotted here. Can you believe that?
Isn't that something?
And they were devastating
Scary.
the merchant shipping off the coast. You might remember when we spoke to the author. He told us some stories about this. And it included Florida as well as North Carolina, Virginia, the mouth of the Mississippi River in the Gulf of Mexico. We had the Nazis right on our doorstep.
Yeah, isn't that scary? Russians too.
For one reason or another, whatever. I know there's a difference in opinion here, but basically it is agreed upon that we didn't have enough manpower to defend our own shoreline because we had sent so many of our military overseas. So it was the merchant marines who had basically that task at hand. U-boats, the Nazi U-boats used the glow of the American coastal cities to silhouette merchant ships, and that made them easy targets for the torpedo strikes. One of those ships was not military personnel, but merchant mariners, who are basically civilian volunteers with the U.S. Merchant Marines. They hauled war cargo, as you mentioned your stepdad did.
Mm-hmm.
Merchant mariners were the supply line that provided virtually everything needed in order to survive the fight on foreign battlefields. They really had no military standing or government benefits, but they possessed an unusual variety of courage, gave their lives for their country as valiantly as those in the armed forces did. So if you know somebody who served in the Merchant Marines, you know a veteran.
Exactly.
If you served in the Merchant Marines, you are a veteran. That's how I look at it anyway.
For sure.
The book is called The Matthews Men. I don't know how many of you remember us talking to William Giroux. The Matthews Men, 7 brothers and the war against Hitler's U-boats.
Yep.
Surviving a U-boat attack, I'm reading now from the flyer. Surviving a U-boat attack often meant running a gauntlet of dangers, including fire, explosions, icy water, sharks, flaming oil. Oh my gosh.
Horrible.
And long odysseys in open lifeboats. You were taking a chance, that's for sure. That's Jack Rowe saying that, a merchant mariner from tiny Gwynns Island in Matthews County, Virginia. which is where the Matthews Men takes place.
Yeah, and Al did when he died. I mean, Robert's Funeral Home took care of the arrangements, and they got his military service. He got the flag and everything. So, I mean, they were definitely part of the armed forces.
Do you want to know how many? The Merchant Marines suffered a higher casualty rate than any branch of the military, losing 9,300 men, with most of the losses occurring in 1942 when the most merchant ships sailed U.S. waters with little or no protection from the Navy. Can you believe that?
Yeah, isn't that something?
In March of 1942 alone, 27 ships from 6 Allied nations were sunk off the coast of the United States.
Gosh.
See, if you think we're safe because of those oceans,
yeah,
think again.
You're wrong.
Statistically, America's coastal waters were the most dangerous, statistically.
Uh-huh.
But half of the world's sinkings took place on our shores, right here.
Isn't that something?
The experience of being torpedoed was so common that the president of the Boston Seamen's Club founded a 40-fathom club for those who had survived it.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
It grew larger every day as rescue ships brought oil-soaked survivors to the docks of Halifax, Boston, New York, Norfolk, Morehead City, Miami, and Havana.
Yep.
My gosh, you got to read. I remember this book now that I'm talking about it.
Yeah, it was something.
Good morning, you're on the air. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, good morning, there were 2 movies made that saluted the Merchant Marines during the World War II time frame. One of them was Humphrey Bogart, Action in the North Atlantic, and the other one was Randolph Scott, Corvette K-225. And they both told the story of the Merchant